great. Now, each week at this time, we do something called a community moment where a member of the Oasis community gets up and shares a thought for the day. Sometimes it's a story of your journey to free thought. Sometimes it's just something a topic you're passionate about, like origami or Esperanto. We have had community moments on all kinds of topics. If you'd like to do one, please get with me. Send an email to mike@houstonoasis.org, and I would love to get you on the schedule. This week's community moment presenter needs to start moving towards the podium. Thank you. Okay. One of the most important people at Houston Oasis because he sets up the coffee every week. So where would we be without him? Okay. So Pat Restivo.
Thank you. Pardon the cup in my hand. Usually just to cope, this is a coping mechanism with severe performance anxiety. This is usually a beer in a karaoke bar. Well, the topic that I picked for this was basically, I called it the wisdom and the cliche. How many people, raise your hands if you've ever heard anyone say, happiness is not having what you want, but wanting what you have. Pretty much everyone's heard that, right? Have you ever noticed that that's always coming out of someone's mouth right after something bad happens, like you lose a job or, some sort of financial adversity, right? Excuse me. Well, I'd heard that for years too, and it wasn't until recently that I really examined that phrase and what it actually meant. And I kind of had one of those aha moments. It's like, that's what that is. And basically, the first half of it is kind of, doesn't really mean much, but the second half about wanting what you have, what does that exactly mean? And I didn't get it for the longest time, and like I said, I had this aha moment. It's like, to me, that was not necessarily the accumulation of things or experience. It was doing away with the things in your life that cause you anxiety, misery, heartbreak, negativity in general. And the reason that this came to me was, and some of you have heard this story, but a year ago, 2 days from now, I started working at a hospital here. It was a government organization. I will not name it. And I noticed some things going on there that I didn't really think were up to par. And I brought them to someone's attention. And specifically what it was is I noticed that certain departments seemed to employ large numbers of single ethnic minorities. And I brought this question up to management about the lack of diversity. It seemed like it was almost segregated by department. And 2 weeks later, I get a visit from corporate compliance, asked me about this conversation I had. And a week later from that, I was told that my services would no longer be needed because it was viewed, my questioning their practices was viewed as racist. And it floored me. I mean, somebody just called me a racist. I just got fired for being a racist. How can I be a racist? I mean, I have no animosity toward anyone based on ethnicity, skin color, anything like that. I got very depressed for a very good bit of the holidays, actually. And I kind of started reflecting on that. And I thought about the time that I had spent there. And it really started making me think, I didn't like it there anyway. There was an entire grievance process that I could go through to try to get my job back. I kind of halfway went through it and then just sort of, it wasn't worth it. Sure, it paid the bills, it had great benefits, but I hated every minute I worked there. Why would I want to go back to that? At that moment, it was around New Year's Eve, and I decided, hey, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution, which I had not done for years. And I said, I'm going to start my own business. Now, that's not really part of the topic, but the reason I did that is because I decided that I was going to be responsible for my own happiness from now on. And I wasn't going to take on the baggage of other people's expectations. I was going to make my own expectations for me. And it was the most liberating experience I think I've ever had in my life. I had gotten rid of things that I didn't want. I now wanted what I had. It wasn't a lot, but it was stuff that I wanted. And then I started looking around in other parts of my life. I was like, well, there were associations that I had, people that Facebook friends, people that I had corresponded with for years. Some of them were, but they were people I knew. And I thought, well, why am I still friends with this person that I haven't spoken to in 2 years? I'm still getting feeds on Facebook from him. Oh, defriended. I think, is it Jimmy Fallon has that National Defriending Day? So I did that, and I started basically unloading a lot of things. And the more I got rid of these things that were causing me anxiety and grief and uncomfortableness in general, the better I felt. And that's when I had the aha moment. It's like, I now don't have what I don't want. The stuff that I have left over is things that I want. And I started looking around here. I was like, I want these guys. The same thing happened when I came out of religion. I was getting rid of things that I didn't want in my life. I didn't want the guilt of not reading that book and going to that place every week and, feeling bad about, liking girls. I was raised Catholic. So I owe her a lot more credit for that one. So she has very high tolerance. But that's the crux of what I'm trying to say is today. Is that cliche right there? The happiness is not having what you want; it's wanting what you have. I'm no longer trying to. I'm starting a business, but I don't expect or even want to get rich at it. I want to enjoy doing it. I'm not going to go to church every week because if I don't, I'm going to burn for eternity. I come here because I want to be with you guys, because I like you. I like being challenged intellectually. I don't like that everybody thinks the same way or has the same point of view on stuff. And it's made me a happier person because of it. And that's what that is to me, the wisdom in that cliche. Thank you.